Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745, and you know what we do here? We play historical games, talk about history. You get to see me do well, do poorly. We'll see how this goes. Love hearing your comments, so please post them below. Yes, hello, Wayne Rumble. Liking the series? Well, thank you so much. Do appreciate that. I really do love that. You know, you guys enjoy this. I am quite honestly still surprised that people want to hear me blather about history while playing games, but I love playing them. So, all right. So we pushed in like this. Let's keep you moving along. You attack there. Don't give them any rest. You attack there, and you support the attack. I know Panzer's supposed to be rushing, but I said, can you move that way? Can you move that way so we keep them wheeling around? Well, we pushed deep into here. One of these divisions will support that attack. We'll cut deep. You support that. New fighters, very good. Yeah, we're waiting. We're just letting all this sort of build up in anticipation of the new year coming very fast. The Marines have advanced, that's nice. Oh, this attack stalled out. Well, armor, motorized infantry. Armor, put that armor. Oh. How are my casualties to date? I normally don't check these things, so when people ask me, I sort of have to poke around a bit. Current wars. Okay. German, British. Not sure where we. Yeah. I know some of you people just know these things because you looked them up. I quite honestly never looked these things up on my own. So if someone could tell me where I'm supposed to look them up, I would gladly do so. I know it shows us a lot of ignorance, but yeah, just something I look at more success on the battlefield than casualty numbers. But I gladly show them. You guys go into Orleans. You guys protect to there. Best spot is the center of the screen. Exposing shell icon. Okay, here we are at war. Okay, yes. So we've had, our casualties access there, Britain, Poland, so 240,000. France alone, 500,000. United Kingdom, 200. So we've had about the same casualties as the United Kingdom has. So now Kingdom of Italy have had a lot because they've been fighting in here. We can see the British have, oh, I hadn't noticed this until just now. The British have done a, oh, and we just had a crash. Oh boy. We just had a crash. Okay, we're going to restart that. Something going in and looking at that caused a crash. So we're going to go back to the last save we have. You should be seeing the starting screen here. No, it's black. It's scary. It's scary. Oh, you should have color by now. All right. Single player, we're going to load up here. Okay, back at the start of the thing. Okay. We're going to go down and look at the bottom and see if it crashes again. Does this see if it's something that we always look at it and it crashes, or could be a bad image or something? Image resource not showing up. All right. Well, or it could just be how it was going. I don't know. Oh, yep. Okay, so, gamer, do not go and look at North Africa, or we will have a crash of some sort. So yeah, we're not going to zoom in there. Yeah, that's a good, JC, that's a good idea. I think mine is monthly save. I think that's a graphical problem. It's trying to display something and it's, the asset is either effed up somehow or not there. I don't know. Oh boy. Oh, I sort of have another sort of save there. Okay, so we're not going to go do that again, but I'm not sure if it's going to be a permanent thingy or something that'll go away in a while. I don't know. All right, well. Oh, we're back. Yeah, it's, I don't know what it is, but like I say, it's because it's when we go look at something, it's got to be a graphical element that's going, oh hey, this something about it is effed up. Either it's looking for it, it can't find it, or Or when it does find it, it displays it somehow, or some reason it crashes things. There's currently empty pockets. No, you guys go out. Oh, no, there's 2 Panzer divisions. The other two will come that way. You support that attack, and use attack there to actually support the other one so that it's hitting from multiple locations. Oh, we are pushing hard. Artillery workshops, and we're almost to the next year, so we are. You support that attack. I'm going to start doing a bunch of research again, just waiting for it. It's actually more efficient. So long, and it may or may not be the case in all of these, but so long as this bar on a blank one doesn't get fully across, it's actually more efficient to wait until the year date happens if we're looking at a 41 technology that we're talking about, but which may not always be the case, but might be the case. At least a few of them, and I haven't expanded Austrian oil. Okay, that will help my oil consumption, but we're going to be done in a few days here. Okay, whoa, yeah, get this cleaned up. Another graphical bug here, but one easily fixed. Okay, well, synthetic fuel production, we can do 2 more of those, which will use up some of the power there. We can do some more synthetic rubber, which will help us out. Right, that helps out the fuel. Okay, that is changing that heavily. Now we're using a lot of fuel. Do we have a submarine type? But no. Don't think we have another. Well, we could do some of these guys. Oh, now. The reason I haven't done this is I'm just building aircraft here, and it's going to disrupt a bit. And, well, yeah. Because I want more bombers, but I need better fighters, too. So we're going to do that. Now, that is not making these obsolete. Okay, so wondering now. Okay, so this is. Do we have? I think it's the F in production now here. Panzer III. We're going to see how they're. Oh, we have the A in production way back here. What is this? This is a medium tank. This is also a medium tank. So let's jump to the J. Here. And for Panzer IV, this is a medium support. Let's go to the D. Big hit, but now those are the older 35Ts. You know, let's move the 35Ts into. These are also cavalry tanks, I think. Yeah. So that meaning they'll fill the same roles in the division. So let's do that while we're keeping the 38Ts in a completely efficient. The ones we're already producing there. There we go. We have something more now. We want to attack up to there. Use support that attack. Moving our mobile forces out that way. Well, one guy will stay there. That division can continue to have a break, a holiday in Paris. Oh, well, now that we're doing the F, yeah, should have waited for the F chassis. Let's come here and do this instead of the D. We should have just gone straight to the F. That would have been better, but we'll do that now. Oh, keep forgetting. I want this to go away. Pounds. Yeah, I should have done that better. If you're playing more carefully than I am, you should watch for those things. So let's just go to the F. There we go. They're retreating out to Jersey. Fine. Or Japan demands French Indochina, but France hasn't even fallen yet. What are you doing demanding things? Yeah, Bulgaria, trade relations, trade mission, good. Okay, tactical withdrawal. Well, for the air, the situation is this. I don't have a lot of fighters, so I am not contesting the air over their territory, and that we're taking, and because we're not putting any fighters over there, I've not been using any bombers. I've just decided not to have them all shot up. This may be not a good strategy in that I might be able to do better over here, but I don't know. It seems to be winning without a lot of effort from the air, so I'm pretty happy with that. This drops the mask. Okay, S. Yeah, we'll accept Italian, German. You got pushed back out. You go there. You attack that way. You support that attack. Just attacking their mass. Sometimes you want to attack them where they ain't. Other times you want to attack them where they are. Depends on the state of their forces, and the state of yours, and the state of flow of the battle. Combat unit dispatch. Okay, well now we are in January 1941. Okay, let's do some that have limited selection. We don't have lots of choices. We can do this now. I was hoping to get that done. Oh, the flak. Okay, well, all right. Well, let's do this, if nothing else. There we go with that. This needs to be here, so let's find something here to research. I mean, there's a lot of good things to research, but okay, guilds and colleges. Okay, 10. Both rather good, so let's grab that one, I guess. Aircraft model. We do the multi-role, but I think we're going to do improved cast first. Now this is likely some doctrines here. Mobile warfare, that looks good. We'll do that. We have maxed out there, so we will spend 100 to get that going faster. We can now do another fighter here, or another aircraft maybe. Yeah, let's do. More fuel usage. IC costs more. Greater range. Better air attack. Naval targeting. Yeah, it's a little better. So we will research that. What do we want to do? Oh, we could do really electric craft. That'd be nice. Now I have a universal one at the top. We have this one with two variable or two screens to look at. Antibiotics. That was a massive help for the Allies. They had rather good antibiotics. Okay, fuel gain from refineries, coal input heavily up. Fuel gain for oil and refineries 15%, 209 days. Mineral extraction factors. Heliarc welding. Yeah, Germans are some of the better welding. Let's do that one. Combination of just 109 days and more fuel faster. How do we have? Oh, and the universal one at the top, I think is. Yep, we'll do that. 107 days. Let's see, we have now a lot here that we can produce. Okay, well, we've also... There we go. Get that going. And we are used up all of our grace period. So what while I was focusing on Western knowledge, control of para, which grants research speed 6%, 21 days. Yeah, we'll do that. And we got a bunch. Well, or uniforms doing? Okay, 60,000 uniforms. Yep, 5 more trucks. Factory lines, or whatever you want to call them. Up for artillery. Those are the big ones I was thinking of that we have. Assault guns. We could do another assault gun. Must be up. Must be up. Where's assault guns? Did I just go buy them and blank on it? Probably. Yeah, we'll do a second one of tracks. You drive to rest, basically. Well, the French Republic has capitulated. We get 2,300 trucks. Yes, they did capture a lot of French trucks. 89 trains. That's one thing I have not been paying too much attention to. Which is logistics, heavy trucks, trains. Okay, so we need 358 currently, and we have 450, so we have about 100 more. I guess I don't know if that counts that, but and horse transport 4,000, very, very nice, and a lot of other equipment. So I don't know if we need to go down and deal with these British, because the treaty's probably going to come in for setting up Vichy. Not have national spirit, which grants fighter cost down 15%. I don't know if we want to do that. Triumph in Paris, yes. We will do that. Establish. PC. Hello, Holiday Punch. How you doing? Been focused a bit on it. Okay. We're going to do the most illegal Germany and allied with Soviet. Well, Germany and Soviet Union were allied for about a year or so. They were allied from, what, about September 39 to, what was it, June or so of 1941? Okay. You can select 2 by or more panels by holding down Shift as you. Okay, cool, interesting. Yes, well, okay. How do I put this? Well, first, let's save this in case we have another crash if I look in the wrong area. Oh, no, not load. Save. I'm not going to go look at North Africa right now. We may test that out some more. I do think it took a little bit long to take Poland, but there is not a good reason to start the war in 39, in fall 39, and then wait till late spring, early summer 1940 and attack France. Germany cannot effectively do a two-front offense at that time, but it needs really no more, I would say, than 35, 45 days to shift the divisions from the east to the west, particularly the motorized divisions. Put them on trains, get them west. So these, in my opinion, rather artificial delays of, like, around Maginot, like a solution for Danzig and Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact. And I've talked about this before, and I'll talk about it again now. It's one thing if you go national vote, I get the term, and Johann when he was asked about this. Can you do more than one national focus? And no, a national focus, only one is you're focusing the nation on like one project or something. Okay, I sort of kind of get that, like doing the space race. We're going to build, spaceships and go to the moon and whatnot. So you building something like the West Wall, I sort of kind of get it. But I have, there was a handful of people involved in from the German side, the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact. I don't know how that would disrupt. Now, I know some of these, is sort of treaty with the USSR that helps research German armor and whatnot, but I don't know how that limits some of these other research things. So I'm not against the idea of this tree and this concept, but, and I'm not saying these things should be free, because we can look at some of these and I would still, maybe have these costs some because okay, 14 days isn't very much time, but go, okay, well, hey, for 30 days, 90 days, I don't know, take a certain number of factories off, whether mill factories or sieve factories or both, minus that for a short period of time from the overall amount, so that these things are not just free. And I get the idea of can't do everything, can't choose, sometimes mutually exclusive, but other times. So I get the idea of some of this stuff, but so I just think some of these delays are a little overdone, where I like the idea of historical conditions, including dates, be the main factor. So you can't rush this out in 1938 or something, way too early. So we should have been attacking earlier in spring in 1940, but because of some of the structure and, yes, some of the choices I made, it delayed the attack into Poland. And with some of these things, some of these I would move over to here. Still maybe require a national focus to start the path going, but I would do that. And you should be able to, because I've done it in Hearts of Iron 3 Black Ice, you should be able to start the war with a reasonably good German army in 1940, take Poland, take France, and then slam down into Yugoslavia, take it out, and help take out Greece, and get all of that done, and this part done sort of winter 1940. And then you would have 1941 as your choice. Oh, and also take out Norway and Denmark in 1940. And then 41 is your choice year. Do you secure the Mediterranean, or do you go after the Soviet Union? And that's where you look at it. If you can effectively, doesn't mean completely, but if you can effectively knock out the Soviet Union in 41, you're going to do okay. That doesn't mean that there still isn't some fighting, but if you've like taken Moscow and Leningrad and you're holding solid out here, you can be okay and have enough forces free to deal with the Americans as they come in 1942. If you can take the Mediterranean and get this territory of some sort of puppet status in which you can put some German units sitting in Morocco, some German units sitting in, Algeria, and controlling sort of Suez and controlling everything in sight of here. Then you should be okay. And I would also say historically, you should be okay at fending off the Americans, because it's going to be very hard early on for the Americans to do a significant invasion in North Africa. And if you've got a Panzer Armee Africa sitting down there, and you also have enough control, you've taken out Gibraltar, you have enough control of the Mediterranean that if there's a fleet coming through here, you've got an Italian submarines could, if organized well enough, come here, could sit out here and have to battle through the submarines and a bunch of air attacks. It's going to be costly. And the only reason the Americans, with the British help, including British landings, did so well down here is because there was nothing here. I mean, the French were here, certainly. But otherwise, there was nothing there. But if there was, some Italian and some Luftwaffe air units and air bases set up to rapidly, just literally get in your airplanes and fly down here, and then, with no bombs, but have bombs and fuel waiting down here. So, rapidly. And the Luftwaffe did that at times. Okay, folks. And I can't immediately sort of list them off, but periodically they would, shift in from the west, whether it's from the Mediterranean or the west, to an air offensive in the east, or vice versa. So they can shift the squadrons around fairly easy if there's infrastructure there and ready to show up, not pissed off Frenchmen that that are controlling some air base that the Luftwaffe shows up in. They've got to have their own control. And so if you're doing that, then you're doing all right. Oh, this is Vichy France now. Okay, that's why they're there. And if you're doing that, you're doing okay. Oh, I'm not sure why this happened. Oh, we weren't supposed to look down there. I'm like, oh well, maybe not crashing the game now, but we won't zoom in any further. So I feel like the German-Soviet alliance should not be possible without the Nazi government being overthrown. Well, there was a German-Soviet alliance during World War II. The Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact and successive commercial agreements and other agreements were going on. There was absolutely an alliance. They jointly invaded Poland. They did a mutual victory parade in Brest-Litovsk, in which there was German and Soviet commanders on the reviewing stand and Soviet and German tanks and other vehicles driving by. Well, all smiling, too. They were all smiling and happy, friendly. And the French Communist Party was allowed to continue, after taking France, allowed to continue publishing their newspaper and continuing the French Communist Party activities. So, and this is a lot of people out there, oh, I don't know if it was Twos or somebody, one of the authors on the economy was asked, in some sort of, question and answer succession after a session after a presentation of talking about some of the economy during World War II. Somebody's asked, well, what if the Germans, blah, 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 didn't slave labor, blah, 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 whatever? And the answer is, what could the Germans have won the war with more production or something like that? And so the answer sort of was, you mean if the Nazis weren't Nazis, could they have done things different? Well, yeah, but they were Nazis, so they're going to Nazi. Nazis are going to Nazi. And that's just the way it is. there is nothing saying that Germany must attack, and there's nothing in Hitler's core being that Germany has to attack the Soviet Union in 1941. It gets back earlier of what I was talking about, and I don't know if you were around, ZZ, was, hey, the war against Britain wasn't going so well because it was a naval war and it was an air war. And Britain was getting the upper hand on both of those well enough. And instead of, and Churchill wasn't willing to negotiate, Hitler was. But instead of being able to negotiate, or instead of shifting more production, and they could have shifted more, I can't tell you how much looking at it. And the reason I know they could have shifted more production is because they actually reduced wartime production from 1940 to 1941 to the start of the invasion of the Soviet Union. There is significant reduction in production, partially to give the German civilian population more goodies, more consumer goods. Partially, it's like, oh, hey, these Panzer III tanks with that 37 millimeter gun, that ain't going to be very good. Hey, those Panzer IVs with the short, 75 millimeter gun, that ain't going to be so good. We really don't need more Panzer Is, do we? No, so shut that down. There was, and then, well, for the next war, let's, and Hitler and the upper level Nazis, they had yet to decide that 41 they were going after the Soviet Union. It's a process, But even once it's sort of decided that you're going to do Barbarossa, they're still not telling people. Because if you tell people, the secret's going to get out. And the secret does get out, but it's not believed by Stalin. But it's only like from one source. So you don't tell everybody that, hey, there's a new major war coming. They sort of kind of think that things are winding down and we're going to have to deal with the Britain and it's going to take a while. But I am sure that you could shift resources, because one of the things that Germany does have a bottleneck is on steel. And so allocations of steel. You could have shifted to do more aircraft production, more submarine production. Now, I'm not saying, I believe that especially, because Germany starts the war with peacetime production levels. And it's not really until Speer comes involved in, 42 that you really get the Totaler Krieg, the idea of having an aircraft factory run 24/7. And I don't know all the details, and it varies, I'm sure, from factory to factory. But it takes them a while to get those factories going. Where America, very early on, once the war starts in, basically in the beginning of 42, America, and you can look at the propaganda movies that as well as just other Hollywood movies, that America really, the wartime factories really just start gearing up. They start the idea that, hey, we build tanks, or we build aircraft, or we build wheels for tanks in this factory, or whatever it is. And they really start at figuring out how to get that factory working 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, which means hiring and training more people. So without any more floor space, needing new buildings, without needing any more machining tools, they can go from roughly in America, roughly an 8-hour workday into, I don't know effectively, because you have shift changeover, so it's not really 24 hours, but it's probably more like 20 hours of actual effective production going on. And they're also working at getting resource production like steel somewhere out here, in like Kansas or Missouri or somewhere, Nebraska, I forget where. I think it's Alcoa, builds an aluminum factory. And they plan, I mean, it takes a while. I think this is like 43 that it gets working. For sure by 44. Because I watched some documentaries on it, but I'm pretty sure it's by 44 it's already working. But I think it's working in 43. It's a massive aluminum plant that can roll a single piece of aluminum rolling back and forth. So it's longer than this, for a mile long. Okay. Because you get it in ingots, and then you have to, you want to roll it out thin to make, the outside coating for aircraft or something thin. And so that's almost 2 kilometers for you Europeans, that they have a little line of machinery out. I know I'm much more than 2 kilometers here, but they have a factory line that has at least one aluminum rolling thing that's over a mile long, so that you take an ingot and you just roll this thing out. I don't think there's anything like that anywhere in Europe. I could be wrong. I know there's a lot of aluminum production going on in Germany and other places. And they're starting to plan this very early on. They're planning allocations of resources, and you can't just turn a factory in one day from, 8 hours a day to, 20 or more hours a day. But you don't even want to do that, turn it on that fast as well, because you're not going to have enough stuff, for your factory, supplies, metal or wood or electricity, because the electric power plants aren't set up to produce that much electricity. And so they're building all of this stuff as the war is going on, and they're planning it, and they're getting it. America is set, I think they do, it's like 10,000, if I remember, saved the picture of the 10,000th B-17 bomber. 10,000 B-17 bombers at some stage in the war. And the war is still going on, and I think they're still making B-17 bombers. Does Germany make 10,000 of any one aircraft? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know they make thousands of aircraft, and of the different models, but 10,000. So Germany, again, is not doing this. They're not setting up to do this. They think they're going into a limited war in Poland. Oops, Britain and France come into it. Hitler is afraid of a revolt of Germans, because he's afraid, and everyone there is afraid of another World War I, and the deaths, the senseless deaths in the trenches and all that stuff. So he does not want to. His regime is not really secure until the fall of France. And you can see it used to be on YouTube. I don't know if it's still there. And I only first saw it watching it on YouTube, is the victory parade in Berlin. All of the people that are swarming this parade, and they're literally swarming the parade. They're not just standing back and watching it like they a lot of times do. And it is such a celebration. It isn't until that moment, in my opinion, Hitler's regime is secure. And obviously there are still various threats and assassination attempts, and then the whole Stauffenberg, a revolt attempt. Because Stauffenberg, yes, he's famous for planting the bomb to try to kill Hitler, but there's the whole Home Army uprising that they've coordinated, and all that stuff that falls apart when it's found that Hitler's alive. And it shows that just Hitler being alive backs this down, and we're seeing Germany being destroyed. And so you look at this, and so, and I say reading, but I'm listening to an audiobook on Speer, and I haven't for a few weeks, but it's sort of when I'm traveling around listening to it, and it's somebody's going through the biography of Speer, and so it's because I've read Speer's book and some other stuff on Speer before, and I've talked about Speer's talents, and he is a talented person. It isn't that he's the smartest or greatest production person. It's a lot of times that I talk about, it's that he is close to Hitler, so he has a lot of power. Now it fades at the end because he's no longer close to Hitler, but when he's there, and that's why he gets things done that others can't get done. Todt would not have gotten stuff done as well. And so the Germans just aren't that efficient at wartime production, and they're getting it going. And so looking at this, we can easily see that they could have shifted production. They could have done more production and fought the British and maintained enough divisions staring at the Soviet Union to keep the Soviet Union from wanting to attack. And they could have secured the Mediterranean well enough that I don't think the Allies, for a few years, and then would they have the political and military will, I don't know, to be able to push through that. Probably they would, but without taking nuclear weapons off the table, and I know obviously at the end they were there, but taking those off the table, if you can defeat the Soviet Union, Germany is strong enough to sort of have the interior lines. If you understand about interior lines and exterior lines, interior lines is like, having, forces here, rushing them here, then rushing them down here, and then rushing them up to here. That's interior lines. The Allies have exterior lines, meaning they have to ship them all around. And so does the Soviet Union have, in essence, exterior lines. And that's sort of dealing with their railroad geography. And I would, say so. But exterior lines, when you're a naval power and becoming an uncontested naval power, can also be very, very great. So, but Germany would be strong enough in the idea that you're strong enough to put enough air power over and enough divisions to deal with any invasion. And you'd really have to be able to do 2 or 3 invasions at once, 2 or 3 D-days at once, if you're no longer fighting inside the Soviet Union. You just have minimal occupation troops kind of thing. I think Germany could hold out against even how great the U.S. invasion capability was. At least that's my analysis. And I could be wrong. I'm sure I could be wrong. But hey, I want to thank you all for making it this far into it. Really do appreciate that. I should also thank Tim, Strongarm, Niagro, Timothy, Sir Toyjet, Gary, Garrett, Marcus, Folk. Some of them have been in chat today. And of course, the great Hoffmanator for support over on Patreon. But everybody else, hey, just lick the like button, subscribe if you're new, and post a comment. It's really helpful. That's all I ask of people. So I hope it has been fun. See you all next time for more Hearts of Iron.